Today's episode is a reaction video for a short found footage film called Dead Mall. It's about 9 minutes long. If you want to watch it without the commentary or if you want to share it with somebody, the link to it will be in the show notes. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to count it down. 3, 2, 1.
Listen, I got a hot tip that there is an unlocked maintenance door, which means I should have unfettered access to this bad boy of a shopping mall.
Okay, so this is interesting because so far we haven't seen the main character. This is Urban Explorer. Okay, I was actually just going to mention that. I was wondering if this was Urban Exploration, Urbex, found inside a derelict shopping mall before it was going to be destroyed.
Your favorite explorer of abandoned places, back with more large empty spaces in another exciting edition of Amanda Hall in your Dead Mall. My tip paid off. I'm leaving the maintenance hallway.
This is a cool location.
Stores. It's a bit of a labyrinth, but that light up ahead is the main mall. How about you join me as I trespass onto some private property for your amusement?
I wonder if the person who's shooting this is the same person who's doing the voiceover. One of the great things about found footage is that you can actually just have you can have someone shoot and no one has to appear in the frame.
Crazy how quickly nature reclaims
Call it
its space
POV.
once humans abandon it. Looks like the mall plants, and who even knew they were real to begin with, are completely overtaking the seating area.
It's interesting because I can't tell if this is actually abandoned or not. I mean, obviously the plants are overgrown, but look, all the lights are on.
I actually grew up in this area, and as I walk through this mall for the first time in years,
Yeah, see, we're not even getting any reflections of this person. So this really is almost entirely POV, which means just seeing from the point of view of the camera what the person behind it is seeing. A lot of found footage movies turn the camera back around, pointed at the person. If they're an influencer, they're the attraction, the draw. She's just looking at the environment. Reminds me a little bit of there's a feature film called Urbex by a filmmaker named William Howard.
It's almost sad.
Yeah, see, the lights are on here. So while it might be closed, it doesn't look like it's abandoned in the sense that it still seems to have power and everything. It's an amazing location.
How many times looks like the mall isn't as abandoned as I thought. A Fandas, place your bet, bird or raccoon. Or neither. Huh. Would have sworn I heard something moving. Hello?
This is actually
anyone there?
I will say one of the great things about found footage films is if you find a really good location, a place like this, especially when you're making a short, like more than half of your work is done, because this is like an amazing liminal space. That's a big thing in sort of the photography world, ASMR and lo-fi. There's a lot of like liminal space stuff, which is basically like large open areas that people tend to pass through are usually what considered liminal spaces, transitional spaces. And that's so much of what this is. It's just capturing footage of these liminal spaces, which is interesting. Liminal spaces are usually transition spaces, so there are people in them traveling back and forth, which is why it's so unusual to see them completely empty, you know?
Though apparently not for this girl. Time to head back down to the first floor.
Yeah, this must have been very recently closed because it's still pretty clean. The lights are on. And while the plants are overgrown, they're not like crazy, you know, and there's no weeds coming up through the floor or anything like that.
I really appreciate everything. You guys heard that, right? It's one big animal, whatever it is, but where did it go? Did it jump down? Do you think it went down? No? Nothing here. That's weird, right? I mean,
what's really fascinating is that this location that they got,
common sense says I should leave.
one of the things you can do that's really powerful with a found footage film is you can capture a moment in time. You know, when regular movies, they take a long time to shoot. You have to build sets sometimes. They can take, you know, weeks or months to create. This is clearly, they sort of showed up at a time when this was happening in the life of this mall. It was closed and probably getting ready to be demolished. This never looked like it before, and it was torn down, so it'll never look like it again. So this movie might actually be the only visual capturing of this moment in time.
In there.
That's kind of an interesting, powerful thing.
This
And
place is
found
a
footage does
little
that. I did that in my film
confusing.
Ask. I shot inside of a house that was still being built, so it wasn't complete. And the only time that you'll ever see that house in that shape. It's now a complete house, and it looks totally different.
Instead of hanging a left at Albuquerque, I'm gonna head right. That should be the department store.
Man. I'm wondering if there's going to be a payoff to the scramble, like how it keeps glitching like that. Because that's not how modern cameras glitch, so I don't know if maybe there's some sort of supernatural explanation as to why it keeps happening.
I can't believe this thing still works. Definitely not rickety at all.
Yeah, this can't possibly be abandoned. Like, lights are still on, the elevators still work.
About plummeting to my untimely death, but it's not even a certificate of inspection. Shame on them.
Well, I wish they panned over. I think that actually, when she said the thing about the certificate, I think there was a blank spot where it said certificate goes here, and it was just empty. That's funny.
On. I think the main store.
Yeah, geez, this just looks like the background of a functional. Oh wow!
That music? Did someone forget to cancel the music subscription?
Look at this place.
Man, look at this place.
Oh, that's so haunting.
I followed my mom around this store as a kid, and now it's in shambles. It almost hurts to see it like this. Whoever was in charge of packing up dropped the ball. Why would the owners leave all these?
Now, there's something so weirdly comforting and sad at the same time, and also like unnerving.
I won't complain about the tunes, but the speakers sound like they've seen better days. This mall, like so many others across the country, was gutted by online shopping and left to decay by local politicians.
Well, that's interesting.
Not only did the community lose a gathering place,
commentary on the idea of what it is that destroyed this place.
Some who had been here for decades before a handful of men in suits decided to bulldoze the building and replace it with condominiums. I hope that they all found work and purpose and meaning in their lives. Somebody really likes ladders.
Oh, well, that's the.
Maybe that's how the raccoons got into the ceiling panels and roamed the mall. Fandas, it has been fun, but this mall is starting to give me the creeps.
It's interesting because this has not it hasn't been particularly scary, but it's
head on out. But please don't forget to like and subscribe and check back in here.
She has returned to us.
A familiar face. It's been so long.
Too long.
She must admire us.
We have nothing to wear.
It doesn't matter.
It's why we are here. We must be seen.
What? Hello?
Hello. Stay with us. Stay with us.
Okay, that was very cool. I like that one. It was short enough that it didn't wear out its welcome, right? It was creepy, and it was sort of like a mood piece. It was sort of a vibes thing more than it was like a plot-driven story. I really liked. It reminded me, if anybody has seen it, there's an episode from the first season of the original Twilight Zone called "The After Hours," about a woman who goes to a department store, and she's having some like weird supernatural circumstances while she's in the store. I won't reveal what ends up happening at the end, but this movie or this short reminded me of that quite a bit. This is very well executed. As I said before, I think finding a location like this is more than half your job. If you find a cool place like that, you can literally just sort of walk around in it and get some amazing footage. There are whole YouTube channels that are devoted to just getting footage like this that don't have any kind of narrative to it. So. And also, I think there was some interesting commentary there about the idea of, Amazon and other places that are putting buildings like this out of business. And, some of them get torn down, get turned into something else. Like I think they said condominiums in the video, but just as many of them don't get ripped down, and they just stand there because they don't get redeveloped. And so they just become this giant empty sort of, relic to a previous time people don't remember, I remember for years in my town, after sort of cell phones came about, there was an old photo mat. The building, the tiny little buildings, used to drive through, and you would hand them your 35 millimeter film, and then come back however long later, and they would have developed the pictures. And the building was just there. It had no use anymore, but the building was there, and it was such a distinctive shape that you just always remembered it. And that kind of reminds me of this at the malls, or like how Blockbusters, or like when a Pizza Hut goes away and then something else moves in, but it still has that Pizza Hut roof. You know, I don't know. I think this is really interesting because they caught it at exactly the right time. Like I was saying during the video, it was, it was closed, but it still had lights on. It wasn't derelict. It wasn't like, overgrown and disgusting. So it's like it happened in a very narrow window, which leads me to believe that maybe someone involved in the making of the movie had access to that place somehow. And just when they knew it was happening, they took advantage of that moment, which a lot of the best found footage films do. That's the way that they make a good movie, is to find a great circumstance that provides production value and then sort of build something around it. That's what I did with my movie Ask. So yeah, definitely think it's worth checking out. Dead Mall. Like I said, the link is in the show notes. And it's an interesting one. Absolutely, I would recommend sharing this with anybody who likes short found footage films.